up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and this is your Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. Episode 8. I think, what was the name of the episode? Hold on, I just finished watching The Wolf Pack of Secrets. It was actually a pretty good episode. We see Lisa at work. We see her doing what she does best. At first I was like, they're giving Lisa too much credit. Look what I have. Finally, it came yesterday. It said I wasn't going to get into the end of, not the end of November, but the end of the first week of November. And I did not realize how thick this book was. I'm very excited. I am really excited about the timeline. Because I've been watching Real Housewives franchise since season 1, episode 1 of Orange County. Right? And so I feel like this is just really a great book just to have a historical reference of a show that I've invested a lot of time in since the beginning. So I'm very excited about this. I opened it and saw people's names that I hadn't seen. I just opened it to Carlos King and Sheree Whitfield, just peachy, and this and then we see some Leah and Dorinda, and I'm excited. So excited. Pictures and everything. I'm really excited about this. Like, literally really excited. Look at Turtle Time. Turtle Time. Yes, Turtle Time. Mention when Bethany told Kelly Ben Simone to go to bed. Just go to bed. Okay, I cannot wait to read that. I cannot wait to read that because I really have watched. I think I've missed one season of Beverly Hills, and I missed one season of New York, and I missed a season of Orange County. I have. Last season of Orange County was so boring. It was so boring and tired and through. I watched a couple episodes and then I checked out. I know y'all don't like Kelly Dodd, but I liked Kelly Dodd on The Real Housewives. I liked her. I liked her. They didn't like her. She was, low-key racist. I mean, who isn't? There's a montage of the housewives saying a bunch of racist shit. It's like, I don't know where you think you're going to reside in the world and you're not going to come across women who are racist, especially white women. So, I mean, you don't want people to be racist, but when you have a privilege and at any point you can exercise your privilege, and that privilege is in the form of racism, what do you think you're going to get? Like, I'm not excusing it, but I'm just saying, like, if you had privilege to access something and possibly exercise something, you might exercise that privilege. And unfortunately, a lot of this privilege is racism. So it is what it is. So I can't wait to read the book. I did not realize how thick it was, but it's I'm excited. I'm excited. So anyways, we're at Lisa's son is creating a hair care line, and he is going to, or I guess a line for boys and young men, a little hair care line. I think a skin line. I'm not sure, but I feel like it was hair care mostly. He wants to invite an event. He's going to work with his foster care organization, and he wants to invite people who were supportive and financially supported his business. So it's going to be about 30 people, not a big event. Mary, Heather, and Whitney go out to eat. Mary, Heather, and Whitney, they go out to eat. They're about to make this ceviche salmon, with salmon in it. I wish I wanted to taste it. Mary said she wanted her salmon all the way cooked because she's afraid that the fish may come alive in her stomach and build a family. Lisa is a button pusher at first. Mary says she was triggered about her asking, am I going to Google stuff? She says, because when I say things, I expect for people to believe me. And it just triggered something in me, and it just came out. And she says, well, why? They asked her why, and they looked very concerned. And she broke down and basically said this is when her mother cut her off, and her mother felt like she deserved the fortune. She hasn't spoken to her mother in 25 years. And her mother, when she told her mother what she was going to do, her mother didn't believe it. And she's like, every time that happens, it just takes me back to that wound. Um, and there's no healing there because her mother doesn't want to speak to her. And then they tell her, like, based on what happened with Lisa, do you guys think that you're cool? And she was basically like, yeah. And then Heather was like, well, being on team Lisa is contingent upon you, I guess, like agreeing with the way that Lisa moves. She's very calculated, and she's going to reveal yourself. And then Mary says, I don't think she's like that. And she's like, you're either my friend or you're not. So we'll see how that pans out. I think Lisa is going to have a very interesting season in the next few episodes, because one, you're aligning with Jen. Two, you're creating environments where people feel like they're being set up. So I imagine that Lisa Barlow is going to have a pretty interesting season and more of an interesting reunion, which I really can't wait, because I want to see how she speaks to this, and hopefully she doesn't throw a tantrum in order to deflect, because we've already clocked her behavior. Okay, we already figure out what she does when she doesn't want to stand in her shit. So Jen shows up to Lisa's son's photo shoot. Jack and, what are their names? Jack and Henry. Very American, very regular, very frontier, very settler. Jack and Henry. Um, so they're having their little photo shoot. Jen Shaw shows up with wolf heads, which I thought was actually really fucking dope. Um, you and Heather, it's a dysfunctional relationship, right? So they go off and sit down and they eat. They're getting snacks or whatever. And Lisa tells Jen that her and Heather have a dysfunctional relationship. And she says healthy friends are important. And then she brings up, I guess, this person who was a stylist or a designer who was supposed to do a dress for Jen Shaw. And remember when Jen Shaw had that recording come out and it showed, her yelling at somebody. And apparently this was the person that they're talking about, and they've blanked out the person's name. And Jen said she hired the person because they were from Hawaii, and she didn't do her due diligence. And she says she's tired of her being mistreated for her kindness, which is odd, being that she is allegedly taking money from old people who are typically kind and giving and willing and taking all of their money. So I'm trying to figure out, are you prey on weak people? So it's really weird for her to say that. A lot of the things that she says I'm paying attention to, and it's like you realize that she's coming into places with gifts all the time, and it's just like, yeah, that's not your money, sis. That's not your money, girl. um it was a setup. You brought up, she says it was a setup. Oh, you brought up why Whitney sent him gifts. Oh, why are you bringing him up? Okay, she gets upset. She kind of gets upset, and her voice kind of raises to the point where in the next at the next event, somebody walks up to Lisa and was like, girl, how was everything happen with Jen Shaw? I guess Jen Shaw, caused the scene because a girl was there once again telling Lisa how great she was. Somebody else telling Lisa how great she was and how nice she was. And oh my God, you're such a good person. It's really, really weird. It is really, really weird. It just seems very contrived. It just seems very, very set up. Um, so Whitney sent him gifts, and she says, I'm loyal, and I want to know if someone did that to me. And Jen is basically saying she doesn't care about that. She doesn't care about that. If I was worried about people, who were worried about me, I wouldn't have a life, or some shit she says. Um, I don't know what to say about the whole situation. She doesn't want the guy mentioned. He apparently, according to the word on the street, is that Jen never got him the details of the dress. That's why the dress was never made. So it's really just a matter of who you believe, and I don't have a dog in the fight, so I don't care who to believe. And I'm definitely not going to take Jen Shah's word. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to be like, well, Jen, no, she's a liar and a thief. So everything she says, it has to be checked and triple checked before we actually latch on to it. She's a liar and a thief. So Whitney and her Bladers Club with her brother, they're playing around. I was about to say ice skating, roller skating around, and they had their little shirts on and this and that. And she tells a little story about her and her brother, how they came up with this Bladers Club thing, and so they're going to hang out, and they sit down and they start talking about Whitney's dad, Ramon. I call him Ramon because his hairstyle looks like somebody from the Ramones. Go look up the Ramones if you don't know who the Ramones are. But yes, that's her father, is giving very much Ramon's realness. So I call him Ramon. So she's talking about Ramon, and they are talking about how she hasn't seen him in like 6 months. And she asked her brother, are they hanging out? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I hang out with him pretty often. She was like, how often? He was like, once a week. Like, I see him once a week. She was like, what? You see him once a week? I haven't seen him in 6 months. And how the hell are y'all cool when I facilitated the reconciliation? And now he don't want to talk to me? Oh, okay. And she's like, told this story about how he was left to babysit. I guess the pizza delivery guy did not know where to go, and the father was yelling at the pizza delivery guy, chased him down the street. The pizza delivery guy called Whitney and her husband and was like, dude, your dad is out here bugging out, yelling at me and all this other stuff. They go back home. She basically tells the dad that she could tell that he's not sober, and she says that he had to leave, and I guess that was the end of that. I guess it was the first time she actually stood up to her father and just told him it was enough, and he hasn't talked to her since. So I think that's fucked up. And then you know her brother tells her, ironically, her brother tells her, just because you're blood doesn't mean you're family, and if you need to cut it out, cut that shit out. If it's not working for you, I mean, literally, like, he literally gave her the best advice, and it's the advice I give all of y'all. If it's not mutually beneficial, I don't give a fuck who it is. I'm in this a one-sided relationship with who? Your dad? Are you kidding me? No. You have a choice of the relationships that you're in, period. And you choose to be in those relationships or not. And if the relationship no longer benefits you, it's becoming toxic, it's not healthy, what are you going to do? You're going to stay in it because that person is your family? Are you crazy? We don't do that anymore. It's a new motherfucking day out here. We're not doing that. So her own brother told her, cut your dad off. My dad too. He's my dad too. But if it's not working, cut it off. And for some people, it's easy to do depending on the severity of the toxicity. Um, and some people want to try and work it out because they feel this obligation to their parents. I don't know. I don't know why you would feel a need to be in a toxic relationship and then wonder why all of your other relationships with your friends and romantic relationships and things like that are fucked up, because you're like, the foundation of your relationships you're maintaining is toxic, and that's with your parents and family. So if I was Whitney, I would take her brother's advice. Meredith and Heather are out with their daughters. Meredith's daughter is beautiful. I was looking at her like, bitch, if you don't get your ass in a magazine and hurry up. Beautiful. I mean, she looks just like Meredith, but it's something about her face, the way she had her makeup. I was like, girl, yes, beautiful. Same facial expressions as Meredith and everything. Beautiful girl, beautiful girl. Her and Heather and their daughters go out. They're talking about college and being able to go to college, a new college where where no one that you went to school with goes, so you could start a new life, a new reputation, and all this other stuff. Are you gonna go to Greek life? And she was like, no, no. She said yes, she would, but she said it's like the best way to meet people. Heather said she wasn't involved in Greek life. They don't have that shit at BYU. It's very wholesome. She says, and then so Meredith goes, I want to see the good time girl. And she was like, girl, I was not the good time girl, but I did go on a trip as a travel companion for a little person, bitch, when I tell you. Oh god. Heather's ass is so funny to me. She's so funny. Everybody is sitting at the table laughing. She was like, I was 18 and there was a picture of her with that damn bottle of vodka when she was 18 years old. Okay. And she was like that she went on a booze cruise and they got shit faced, and then she sang a song. She didn't get drunk because she was under eight, she was 18, but she won a bottle of vodka for winning a singing competition. And she was tall as hell, 18 years old. I was like, okay, 1993 girl. Oh, that's so hilarious. That was funny to me. It was something else that was funny that Heather did on this episode. I think it was with her and Jen, but we'll get back to it. So Meredith says they want to plan a trip to Vail, Colorado. She has a house up there, and nobody's going to be able to go, so she wants to have a trip. And then they ask, "What about Jen?" She says she's a little bit apprehensive about the relationship. She's like, "Am I crazy to invite her?" And she was like, "No, that's why I love you." She was like, "Well, I'll let you invite her." So they're going to invite Jen. And Meredith's thing is like, "Girl, we just made up. I'm still a little bit, you know, it was a year. What'd she say? A year and a half of her with her shenanigans. It's gonna take me a minute to get over it." And I think people don't understand that just because you apologize doesn't mean that the person immediately has to, warm back up to you, and the relationship is gonna go back to the way it was. You are apologizing because you felt that you were wrong in what you did, and you were sad because you hurt someone's feelings in the process. Your actions hurt someone's feelings, and you're apologizing for that. Does not mean that they have to turn around and just open their arms and start hugging you again. It's going to take some time, and especially because Jen is so unpredictable and volatile. It would take some time for me too. It would take some time. I need to see you. I'm not going to just open my arms up to you. You are a funny acting bitch. So I need to wait for a second to see how you're going to act. Let's get a few drinks in you and see how you act. Anyways, back at the Fresh Wolf event, they're having their little charity event to bring awareness to foster care, because John was a foster kid, and I thought it was cute the way the son was like, "I have a foster kid in my house, but it's my dad, and he's grown up." It was very cute. It was just very cute. We love that he got up and was talking about, just the importance of, how he wants to bring awareness to the foster care and this and that, and for kids to find homes and stuff like that. Very cute. You love to see children that age just really understanding that there's a world outside of themselves. I love that. I love that. Jen and Heather are at Heather's house, and they start talking about Heather's dating life. We all know that Heather is currently dating this guy. He looks like I said, he looks like the brawny man on the side of the paper towel package. All he needs is a damn axe and a red and black lumberjack. That's all he needs, because that's exactly what he looks like. So shout out to Heather for finding companionship, because that was a goal of hers. She said the fisherman was married. What's her name brought her a bunch of sex toys, gag gifts, fun. It was cute. I thought it was funny when Heather said, when Jen was like, the penis is crooked. She says it all works the same in the end. So stupid. She's so stupid. Oh, it was so stupid. So she asked about Whitney giving this guy product, right? And Heather is trying to take up for Whitney by saying, I don't think she would give anything to anybody for free. He probably bought it. But I know that Whitney or Lisa invited Whitney to this event, and Jen was like, she was like, why didn't she invite you? She was like, I don't know. And then when she found out it was for foster care, she got upset. She was like, oh my God, she's doing it for fucking foster care? Oh my God. You know, she was trying to, I guess, make herself seem like she was really angry about it. And then she was like, my aunt just adopted 2 kids and this and that. I wonder why she wouldn't invite me. And then she was like, you know, she's calculated. She's like a little kid. It's like in the 4th grade and she hasn't moved past the 4th grade. I have told you guys this for years and years and years. And those who study psychology and sociology and how little girls start to relate to each other in conflict. It literally starts in elementary school and it never stops. It's the same template as when little girls fight in elementary school. If you watch every single one of these Housewives shows, this is how little girls fight. The best way is to ruin your social standing and how you look to the outside world, how everyone else thinks about you. And so what we do is try to tarnish the character and your social standing. And it starts in elementary school. It starts in elementary school and it never ends. It plays out through all of your in all of your girl groups. The same thing plays out over and over again until you learn healthier ways on relating to each other and realize this is not the best way. But what Lisa is doing with all the women and, you know, inviting people, trying to make herself look the best, as the best person, and you're a good person and we love you and you handle that well. But everybody else, their character is a little shady, right? And what do? You make it look like that. You make it look like that. And it's not a tactic, really. It's just a template. It's just really the template that girls to women operate from. And it's the dynamic is evident in every single Housewives franchise. All of them. Every last one of them. So fun. It's so fun. It's an amazing experiment for me. That's why I love reality shows, because it's like these people are putting themselves in these kind of contrived situations and then you're seeing how they're reacting, right? That's why I don't like it when they get too affected by the cameras and things like that and they start changing who they are, because it's no longer a real study. It's no longer a real observation. You're manipulating the observation by not being yourself. You know what I mean? That kind of ruins it. Um, I'm tired of trusting people and being screwed over. I'm sure a lot of old people can say that to you and your friends, you and Stu and the rest of your crew. Yeah, I'm sure. The Fresh Wolf event, they talked about Jen being at the photo shoot because somebody comes up to Lisa and was like, you're such a good person, the way that you dealt with Jen that day. So, of course, Meredith was like, girl, what happened? And she was like, girl, we talked about, you know, the guy that, you know, with the dressmaker and this and that. And she was upset. And then Meredith was like, well, girl, she talks about everybody else. Why can't nobody talk about her? Everybody talks about everybody. So she's no different. She's not exempt from that. Everybody can talk about everybody. So then this guy named Cameron Williams comes up and Lisa says, he's our connect to Mary. And some guy comes over, a photographer comes over and distracts Lisa. And so it leaves Meredith and this guy, Cameron, to talk, which I think the cameraman, not the cameraman, but the photographer was sent over there to kind of distract it. I don't know. It was very convenient that they ended up together and Lisa wasn't standing right there. It was very convenient. She's like, so how do you know Mary? And he was like, oh, Mary is, I went to the church. Thankfully, I don't go there anymore. And she's like, thankfully, what happened? Some things have been very harmful, and all I could do is hope for healing. And then he says that he and Mary were extremely close, and he tells Meredith, just be careful. And she was like, I had such a feel good experience there. I don't like, she was kind of confused. He's like, I don't understand what you're saying. And he was talking in riddles. And then he was like, I was there for 7 years, and I was thinking like, oh yeah, he has a good grasp on what the hell was going on over there. So we're gonna see. I think he comes back and talks to Meredith or Lisa. It was one of them sitting across from some guy at a table. I believe it was Lisa. Um, he says the truth will come out, and it's Mary's story to tell. And she was like, because what are you talking about? I would have been like that too. Like, I don't like when people tell. That's one thing, is a pet peeve of mine. If you have half of a story, don't start telling me. If you don't have all the details, I'm a Virgo and I want every detail. If you're telling me about a phone conversation, I want to know from the ring, how'd the conversation go? From the ring, okay? Ring, hello, hello. I want to know everything. Don't be trying to tell half of the story. Don't none of that riddles. If I was Meredith, I would have walked away. I'm like, okay, you ain't talking about nothing. All right, well, whenever you get ready to tell the entire story, let me know. I would have walked away from him. It wouldn't have been no. I'm not giving you camera time for you to talk to me in riddles. We don't play those games. I see you when you're ready to talk, bro, Cameron. All right. And so when she was done talking to him, her and Lisa go off to the side. Now he said he was leaving, but his fiance was sitting in the chair conveniently in the frame. And I was like, wait a minute, that's the guy's fiance. I thought he was leaving. So I guess I don't know where he was going to get goodie bags. I don't know where he was going. But Meredith and Lisa go off to the side, and Meredith was like kind of freaked out. And she was like, it was a bizarre conversation. She was like, he's a preacher, but he doesn't speak badly about anyone. She was like, it was just really unsettling. And then she was like, did he explain it to you? That's what Meredith was asking Lisa. Like, he was talking in riddles about Mary. And I was like, I don't know what to think. And she was like, well, he has shared some things with me and he experienced real trauma, but that's not for me to tell. And I do kind of appreciate that, but it was another way to just be like, let me drop something down here real quick. It was a trip. Overall, the episode, it just ended like that. So we're gonna see. I know that guy comes back. I feel like I've seen him sitting at a table with somebody. I think that was him. It might be another guy, but we'll see what he says. There are so many people that have things to say about Mary and her life. We got a little glimpse of her talking about the relationship with her mother and how it's none. There's no relationship there, because the mother felt like she should have been in the one to marry her stepfather instead of her daughter marrying her step grandfather. She felt like she should have been the one, and for that, she hasn't spoken to her daughter in 25 years. Um, I don't know. I mean, it seems like Mary is sharing. She is sharing a lot, but we'll see what this guy says. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And it's also going to be very interesting when Mary finds out that Lisa is bringing this guy around. And you've conveniently made friends with this guy, so much so that, like, it seemed like they knew each other. She was like, the last time I saw you, you were getting engaged. So it seemed like it was like a genuine relationship. We don't know. It could have been created just for the show, and I have no idea. I don't know. With Lisa, we don't know. It seems like she plays this game. It does really seem like she's playing this game. Anyways, that's it for the episode, you guys. You let me know what you think about the episode. Let's get down in the comments. That's pretty much it. Take care of each other and protect your energy. Peace.